Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria and today I am going to put myself through torture for your amusement. I am going to be doing a video that I saw Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl do, and I also saw Caitlin from The Love Librarian do, and their videos were hysterical. I love watching these on TikTok, and that is I am going to be reacting to 1-star reviews of my favorite books. So I picked out a couple of my favorite books. I think I have maybe 4 or 5 of my favorite books, and I'm going to be looking at their 1-star reviews. And it's going to hurt me. I know it is. But I think it'll also be funny. So we're going to go into it. I am just gonna pull up my phone to go to Goodreads. Look at my background. I made my background my picture of me and Sophie Lark from a Polycon. I'm such a nerd. Okay, I'm gonna go to Goodreads. And that's perfect for my background being Sophie Lark because the first book that I'm gonna do is Broken Vow by Sophie Lark. These all are going to be books that you've heard me talk about because they're all my favorite books. I'm going to start with Broken Vow. So let's go to the 1-star reviews and see how they could, I don't see how they could possibly have an issue with Riona and Raylan, but let's check. Okay, here's one. Okay, this one says, "You guys, this book is way too long. I was promised smut and I'm halfway done and I'm getting nothing. And yeah, sure, she's trying to establish character, blah blah, but unfortunately, I don't really like either of the main characters. The love interest is way too perfect. He fights, cooks, is interested in art, and is some kind of a horse whisperer. And of course, how can I forget he has a hot bod too? I don't even think Superman has this whole skill set." Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, this is not a smut book. It's a romance book. I don't know who promised you smut in this book and who promised you that it would be a lot. Probably TikTok, honestly. But this is a romance book. It's not just the smut. That's the part of it. The smut is like the least interesting part of this book. Not to say it's not interesting because that barn scene is fantastic. But if you're just reading it for the smut, go find like a Jessica Kane novella or something. What are you doing? So, get your facts straight. First of all, this is not, like, this has great sex scenes in it, but that's not the point of this book. Also, if your whole standards is that the fact that he can fight, cooks, and is interested in art, if that's too many skills for you, then I think your standards are a little low and you should reevaluate that because you're probably worth more than that. Although maybe not because you didn't like this book. We're gonna move on. Okay, the next one says, "This book was so bad. People really hyped it up for no reason." You're wrong. Oh God. I'm sorry, but the writing was just not it for me. I felt like I was reading the SAT English section, and the romance was also not it. I couldn't even connect the dots. Oh my God, but what really was a turnoff for me was that he was a cowboy. Oh my God. What's your issue with cowboys? Oh my God. I mean, what did cowboys do to you? What is wrong with a cowboy? Okay, I would also like to point out that if the SAT English section read like Sophie Lark books, I would have done a hell of a lot better on my SATs. Putting that out there. You're wrong, and I'm worried for you. What's your issue with cowboys? Let me know. The next one says, "I really did not like how they ended making Riona domesticated in a way. If the family was so amazing, why did she leave? Does she need to live with her parents in order to like her family? Like, do you live with your family? Do you plan on living with your family for the rest of your life? Because, like, my older brother and his fiance live across the country, but that doesn't make them any less part of my family. Doesn't mean I love them any less. So, or that they love us any less because they live far away. So I don't know what your issue is with that. I also I don't know what you mean by domesticated, because Riona's still stuck with her career. She was still very much a fiery, take no bullshit personality. She definitely let her walls down a little bit and allowed Raylan to see her more, but I don't really know what you mean by domesticated, because she's still stuck by her fiery personality. So is it just because, like, she didn't stay with her? I mean, I don't know what you mean by domesticated. So I'm sorry that that seems like your own issue, because I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, let's go to a different book, because that's all I can take about Sophie Lark. I'm gonna do Brooklynaire by Serena Bowen. This one is one of my all-time favorite Serena Bowens. I've read this book multiple times. It's a billionaire romance where he's like a nerd and he like owns a tech company. Okay, so let's go. The first one that I see says, here are some of the reasons why this book didn't work for me. That's very organized. I like that. Okay, number one, the hero, Nate. He was supposed to be a successful billionaire, but he was so insecure. He was cheated by his college girlfriend and wasn't in any committed relationships after. He also wondered if women were into him because of him or because of his money. Okay, so I don't know why you would need to think that he would be more, like, why can't he be insecure and also have a lot of money? Does having a lot of money make you not insecure? I don't have a lot of money, so maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you can still be insecure if you have a lot of money, because his whole character is the fact that he doesn't like being in the public. He's socially awkward-ish. He's more nerdy. He just wants to sit behind a computer, but he just happens to have this skill set that allows him to make a lot of money. So let me know. If you have a lot of money, tell me. Also, it literally states in your review, in this review, that it says he was worried that women were into him because of his money and not because of himself. Isn't that just wouldn't that be a reason to be insecure? Get your facts straight. That you're wrong. The next thing on her list says the heroine, Rebecca. At first I liked her. She was the backbone to her sister's boyfriend, and her baby nephew. It says things began to head to the disaster highway after she and Nate had sex for the first time. Rebecca became someone else. All those positive attributes gone and replaced by an annoying, snappy, judgmental female. I did not notice that. I had no issues with Rebecca. I actually liked her a lot. So I'm not sure what you were noticing, but I'm sorry about that. I don't have a rebuttal for that because I did not notice that. So we're gonna go to a different review. This one says, this book was incredibly dull and almost entirely worthless. That's so rude. Oh my God. I think the author was so busy trying to subvert billionaire fiction tropes that she accidentally forgot to write a good story. And I also think that she forgot that the billionaire subgenre of romance sucks in general. Why did you read a billionaire romance if you hate billionaire romances? Like, this book is literally called Brooklynaire. Brooklyn billionaire? Like, that's Brooklynaire? Did you not think that it was going to be a billionaire romance? That's on you. This next review says, I felt nothing. Zilch. With periods in between, because she means business. I'm sorry. You're wrong. Okay. This next one says, the heroine is everything I aspire not to be in life. Horny and unprofessional. What? Okay. I did not think that she was unprofessional. I mean, I actually think that she spent a lot of her time trying to be professional. It was one of the main conflicts in the beginning before she even got with Nate, because she didn't want to get with him because he was her boss. I feel like that's very professional. This one says, surprisingly a decent read considering the ridiculous title. That's fair. Well written and plotted out, it had just the right amount of angst necessary for a romance without pushing into obnoxious territory. Certainly not breaking any boundaries, but a nice, easy read for a rainy day. You know you gave this book 1 star, right? Because that's not a 1-star review to me. Okay, let's go to a different book. Let's do Forbidden by Carla Sorensen. So this is a age gap forbidden romance, where he is a single dad and he's also a ex-MMA fighter. Okay, so the first one here says, slow, boring, no chemistry, too much push and pull. They're going straight to the heart. Oh gosh. This says, I don't think this needed 300 plus pages. I found that the side characters were way too meddlesome. The 2 leads had the chemistry of a rock. The story dragged way too long, and frankly, the ending wasn't much of a payoff. It says, in my opinion, the story had the potential to be something more, but ultimately it fell way flat. The side characters are her sisters, because this is book 4 in a series of sisters. So it kind of would make sense that her sisters would show up, especially because, like I said, it's book 4. It's the last book in the series. I actually really loved her relationship with her sisters and how much her sisters were in this book. So I'm sorry that that bothered you, but one of the main things about the Ward Sisters series is the Ward sisters, that there are multiple of them and that they're all very close. Okay, so the next 1-star review of Forbidden says, meh. Personally, I don't like dead significant other tropes, but I tried this because of the 4.5 rating. Isabel's desperation is pretty embarrassing to me, and there's only so much slow burn I can take before I stop caring. I don't really know what to say to that. I don't think Isabel was desperate at all. Because this is definitely a slow burn. It's a slighter slow burn, but it's definitely a slow burn. So if you don't like slow burn romances, then maybe don't try it, but it's definitely not like a Mariana Zapata level slow burn. Okay, the next one says, decent. This was overall a good story, but the sex scenes were too few and literally glossed over with no detail. I've never read such vanilla stuff before. No from me. Like I said with Broken Vow, the sex scenes are not the main part of the story, are not the main part of romance. Yes, the sex is important. I am somebody who likes the sex scenes. I don't like closed door romances, but the sex was definitely not an overpowering aspect of this story. So maybe, can I recommend a more erotic romance for you? Praise by Sarah Kate comes to mind as something that's a little bit more sexy, if that's what you would like. This one says, honestly, it wasn't great. Recycled storyline. There's something about this author and dragging out her plots. Like I said, slow burn. This one just says, there is no plot. Nothing happens in 80% of the book. So horribly boring. That hurts me. That really hurts me. Okay, we're gonna go to a different one because I can't take this slander of Isabel. I'm gonna do Culty by Mariana Zapata. I mean, if they didn't like the slow burn of Forbidden, then obviously I'm sure there's gonna be some slow burn complaints on these two. So this first 1-star review of Culty says, I hate this book. Can you elaborate? Tell me how you really feel. The next one says, I know usually this author writes slow burns. Yeah, she fucking does. It's Mariana Zapata. Every single one of her books is a slow burn. This book was slow. There wasn't any romance in it. There's definitely a romance in here. This is a romance and you're wrong. Okay, this one is funny. This person says that their original review was Twilight but soccer, which is funny. And then her updated review says, I'm still so mad about this book and its high reviews. I logged on to take away a star. You took away what? It's so stupid, and Culty is the worst. So gaslighting and rude. He is not hot, and she is so full of backwards patriarchy reinforcing slut-shaming attitudes that I couldn't. No stars. 1 bonus star for taking place in Houston, one of the most underrated cities. Wow, she's got some anger. Jeez. I've never been to Houston, so I can't speak to that, but I'm glad that that made you happy in this book. So I don't even know what to do with that. That hurts me. Moving on. This one says 0 stars. What is that? Worst heroine ever. Stupidest hero ever. Dumbest, most irritating fucking romance ever. Summary of Sal being a pushover dumbass with Culty. And then she put in quotes. He completely disregarded any of my wishes and my opinions, and my heart just fluttered. Oh my god. Motherfucker, I swear to God, Sal is a dumbass and a hypocrite. She legitimately thinks that she is such a good person and is so high and mighty. She's a fucking bad person and an absolute moron. They capitalized absolute. They mean business here. I have never, also fully capitalized, hated a heroine more. At one point, she calls her teammates whores because they were gossiping about her. Then, Culty, never mind the fact that they have no chemistry, he's also a freaking asshole to everyone, and she falls for it. Like, what the fuck? He's so rude, and I did not buy their love at all. Fucking hate this book and the heroine so much. Oh my god. And then it says, die, Salome. Oh my god. They had anger. Wow. Oh my gosh. Did you just have a really hard day that day and needed to get some of your anger out? I have never had such a horrible reaction to a book. Oh my gosh. If you hated it that much, why didn't you DNF it? I have to move on. I can't even say anything. The next one says, terrible, terrible writing. Premise was promising and the protagonist seemed interesting on paper, but acts and speaks like a 15-year-old when she's 27. No idea why this book has so many great reviews. Like, did we read the same book? No, I don't fucking think we did because you're all so mean. This book was fantastic. Hurts my heart. Okay, we're gonna move on because people really hate Culty. Wow. And a lot of the bad reviews for Culty are about the heroine. I mean, am I the only one who didn't notice anything bad about the heroine? Somebody please in the comments tell me what is the hate against the heroine in Culty? Oh my gosh. The next one we're gonna do is gonna be probably the hardest for me to read the reviews of, and I am afraid. Because they're gonna hurt. And that is Never Seduce a Scot by Maya Banks. The first review says, this book is a first-rate sleeping pill. And then they did the gif of Chandler sleeping, you know, from Friends. And then they say, it is Disney Highlanders all over the place. I absolutely don't understand how it received such a high amount of high rating. Or well, I have an idea, but it wouldn't really be polite to voice it. Whatever. Boring, very downright sleep-inducing. What's your idea? I'm really curious. I didn't think it was boring. I thought it was incredibly romantic and very sweet. But I appreciate you not raging and tearing it apart and just saying that you thought it was boring. Like, I'm really sorry you thought it was boring, but I didn't. Oh my god. This one says, it's no fun reading a book about perfect people. Graham and Evelyn were gorgeous, clever, kind, and eventually, in Evelyn's case, respected by all. Blah. There was no real conflict within the book because the conflicts that were presented were so obviously not going to harm the central couple that they barely registered. Graham's clan doesn't like Evelyn. It's a good thing she's so darn beautiful and loyal and clever. Oh no. And then, spoiler, this person kidnaps Evelyn. Thank goodness, Graham and his father-in-law, a sworn enemy, can put aside a decades-long feud to save her. Lame. First, the thing with the conflicts, it's a romance, so you know it ends in a happily ever after, so whatever the conflicts are, they're always gonna be able to work out their relationships. So don't you kind of understand that every conflict works out in the end of a romance book? So I don't really see your issue with that. Also, the whole point of the fact that Graham and the father-in-law can put aside a decades-long feud was to save her. They both bonded over one thing. It was the first time that they actually had something that they agreed on, which was their love of Evelyn. That was the whole point. This one says, really? A 4.21 rating on this? Not even close. The writing feels like something that is done by someone learning to write their first book. It's schoolgirlish and amateurish. There's no depth in the characters' dialogue, lots of repetition of the same fears and concerns over and over again. It just got to be redundant and silly, and I finally gave up. I even fell asleep in the middle of the sex scenes. I would like to point out that a lot of one-star reviews critique that the writing is amateurish. I would like to see you try and write a book. Where's your book? Seriously? Obviously it was good enough to be published. It's good enough for people to like it. This next review says, it was too cheesy, and in a lot of parts of this book, it seemed as though I was reading Romeo and Juliet. I mean, two clans who hated each other and were only brought together by a tragedy. Like, come on, really? I don't recommend this book. It's a rival families romance. That's literally the trope in it. It's the same trope that's in Romeo and Juliet. Is it the exact same book? No. But have you ever read a retelling? Like, this is not a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. It just has the same trope. But if you've ever read a Beauty and the Beast retelling, it's a retelling, so it has the same vibes. It doesn't mean the book is the same. If you don't like that trope, don't read that trope. Okay? Okay. Good. This one says, don't waste your time. It is not a waste of your time. It's beautiful. Go read it. This one says, meh. Frankly, I lost interest once Graham found out she was deaf. This one says, it was like a parody of a romance novel. I don't even know what you mean by that. You're hurting me here. Just stop. I think that's about all I can take. I was gonna do one more book, but I think that's about all I can take. Also, I talk a lot and this video is gonna be long. So that's what we're going to end on right there. These hurt me. So that is gonna be it for this video. But please let me know down in the comments below, what do you agree with any of these people? Do you like these books and agree with me instead? And also, let me know what makes you one-star a book, because I rarely, if ever, give one-star reviews. And I also do not rate books that I DNF. Do you rate books that you DNF? Let me know. But that is going to be it. So please like this video if you liked it, and let me know if you want me to do anything else similar to this, like reacting to reviews, and please subscribe so that you can see more content from me. But that's it, so I hope you have a great day. Bye!